Hello guys, it's Robbie here, and here I am with with a promised recap about the no tech trade that I placed yesterday in London session. So first of all, I will start with the markups. I will make a quick explanation about the markups, and after that I will show you the position and I will explain the whole trade idea behind the trade opportunities. So yeah, here we are on the 4-hour time frame, 4-hour markup. So what happened on the 4-hour time frame? Well, technically price has flipped the real valuable demand area right here. That has caused the 4-hour swing break of structure to the upside. And as you can see, price has made a full zone mitigation at this point. After this full zone mitigation, 15-minute has changed character on several places right here. And at this region, we were expecting long continuations based on these 15-minute demand mitigations. But it did not happen. Price has broken below an extreme demand somewhere around here. And after this extreme demand break, price probably, I believe, I remember it well, reacted on a 1-hour demand zone. And after this demand zone reaction, price just flipped it and technically flipped this whole 4-hour demand area that has caused this 4-hour swing break of structure to the upside. And technically continued this overall bearish order flow on the 15-minute time frame. So the order flow at this region was clearly bearish. So personally, I was expecting bearish continuations down to this 4-hour demand area. Yesterday, I did not mark this 4-hour zone out at all because I was really expecting the sweep of these triple bottoms right here, or we can call this one as a double bottoms too. So I was expecting the sweep of this liquidity. And somehow I totally neglected this literally perfect double bottoms right here, which has been built up for this 4-hour supply area, 4-hour demand area, sorry. Why this one is a valuable demand area? Because it has caused a 4-hour change of character, 4-hour flip on this weak supply area, because there was a 4-hour break of structure with this low point right here. And technically this whole structure breaking movement started from this supply area, and this supply area couldn't manage to do a new breakout structure here, and then instead of this breakout structure on this low point, price had just flipped it, and this whole flipping movement started from this 4-hour demand area. And even though if I would mark this demand out, there wasn't a 50% mitigation. So here is the 50% line. As you can see, the 50% hasn't been mitigated at all. Here is the top of the 4-hour demand area. And I was still expecting bearish continuations to if I mark this 4-hour demand out, then I would still expect bearish continuations at least to this 50% mitigation. But as I said, I did not mark this demand out yesterday, and I was really expecting continuations down to this demand area sweep of this double bottoms, triple bottoms liquidity. So technically that's all based on the 4-hour time frame. I was expecting bearish continuations, especially after the flip of this demand area. So let's take a look on the 15-minute time frame, 15-minute markup, and here is how the 15-minute time frame looked like. So as you can see, there was a really nice bearish movement that has caused the swing break of structure on the 15-minute time frame, and price left behind a clear 15-minute high, 15-minute low. Everything that happened between this high and low was technically 15-minute substructure, and price has reacted on this 15-minute supply area that has caused the swing break of structure directly, printed really nice volume candles. Price returned back to the supply area, but after this supply zone mitigation, price has made really slow movements. As you can see, almost 100% efficient movements, and there was a really nice last recent bearish movement, but before the session, price was struggling to create a new break or structure on the 15-minute time frame. So technically everything that happened between this high and low point was only substructure on the 15-minute time frame. But based on the really nice bearish order flow on the 15-minute time frame, if price would return back to this supply area right here that has caused the substructure break or structure at this point on the 15-minute time frame, and as you can see, the real break of structure was pending. Even though if price return back to this supply area, I would definitely wait for a confirmation entry on it, or if price could manage to do a break of structure and left behind a newly formed supply area, then I would wait for confirmation entry on it, and I would definitely target the 50% of the 4-hour demand area, or I would target the triple bottoms on the 4-hour time frame, targeting the 4-hour demand below. That would be my final TP, my overall swing TP. But during the session, I had another possible TP area, which was the low point, but you will see that on the 15-minute time frame when I show you the real trading view. So yeah, that's all based on the 15-minute time frame. And on the 5-minute time frame, just I want to say something about the 15-minute once again. Probably this zone is going to be a clear 5-minute supply. This is what I wrote right here, and technically this 15-minute supply was a really nice 5-minute supply area, because on the 5-minute time frame, if you take a look on the 5-minute markup, as you can see, there was a pending 15-minute breakout structure, but on the 5-minute time frame, there was a 5-minute breakout structure to the downside. Price returned back to this structure breaking 5-minute supply area, and after this 5-minute supply zone mitigation, technically price on the 5-minute time frame has changed character to the downside, and this whole character changing movement has initiated from this extreme supply area, and this is the extreme of this whole movement. There was a flip zone, so you can see that here is the reaction, and the flip has happened from this zone. This is the decision in this case, but we had a really nice extreme, which was technically the refinement of the 15-minute supply that I have marked on the 15-minute time frame. So this is how the 15-minute supply look like, and this is the clear 5-minute refinement of that 15-minute supply. And here are the plans. Here are the plans that I was following, that I was waiting for. The confirmation entry on the last recent supply area or on the extreme area. If any of these happened, then I would definitely look for sell opportunities. And if a new breakout structure happens, then I would look for confirmation entry on the newly formed supply area. These were the plans, and technically I was 100% sure about the continuations of the bearish order flow, and yeah, this is why I was expecting bearish trades and bearish continuations. And technically that's all about the markups, and here is the update that has happened, that I have sent before the possible trade opportunity into the London updates. But here is the real chart on the 15-minute time frame. You can see that here is the 15-minute of the markup right here, and here is the 15-minute real chart. And on the 15-minute time frame, we can identify a clear breakout structure to the downside right here. Price was hesitating at this region, so since after session open, price was hesitating technically for almost 2 hours, but at the first half of the session, price was really hesitating. It was struggling to create a new breakout structure on the 15-minute time frame, but after a couple of 15-minute candles right here, at the end of the first half of the session, price has finally managed to do a breakout structure to the downside. Here is the really nice, here is the small body break below the previous low point. As you can see, here is the body break. So the breakout structure has been confirmed, and technically this 15-minute supply up here that I have marked before session open in the markups, technically this supply has become valid, and this was the high point also that has caused the breakout structure right here. And also this 15-minute supply has presented and created really nice volume candles, so it was a pretty valid and pretty valuable supply area where we could wait for confirmation entry. After this hesitation right here, let me show you the update once again. Here is the update. As you can see, session started right here. Price was hesitating for almost 1.5 hours, and actually it was more than 1.5 hours, but price has managed to do a 50-minute breakout structure somewhere around here. After that, price has started reversal to the upside, swept all of this liquidity into this 5-minute supply area, because I stick to the 5-minute time frame, 5-minute supply area, which was the refinement, perfect refinement of the 50-minute supply, which looked like something like this. So price has returned back to this extreme 5-minute supply area, and after this reversal to the upside, price has reacted up without 50% mitigation. Reaction happened, and after this reaction, price couldn't manage to do a change of character, and actually after this reaction, the change of character point was pretty far right here. So I was definitely waiting for a deeper mitigation, and the deeper mitigation has happened right here. Let me show you. Deeper mitigation happened with this movement, and also the break of structure to the upside happened with this movement. So it means that we have a new low point that has caused the break of structure to the upside, and this was the low point where I had a pending change of character line. If this break of structure, if this change of character happened, then I would look for sell opportunities targeting this low point right here, because this was the last recent 15-minute low point, and it would be a really nice target for the possible short opportunity if I could find an entry opportunity right here after this 5-minute supply zone mitigation. So this was my first plan, the change of character and shorts down to this low point. Or if a flip happened here, then we could take longs to the next supply area. So these were the plans after the mitigation of this 5-minute supply area. We still had 40 minutes left from the session when price mitigated more than 50% of the zone. And let me show you the trading view. So this was a possible trade idea, and here we are on the 1-minute time frame on the trading view. So as you can see, the 50% mitigation happened perfectly. Price reversed back with really nice candles, flipped the last recent 1-minute demand area that has caused the break of structure to the upside, and technically the flip happened from this small decisional candle. At this point, I have marked this decisional candle out. So you can see that there is it has been marked out, and I was planning to set a risk split order on the decisional and also on the extreme. Why did I plan to set a risk split order? Because technically in this case, the change of character and also the flip of this 1-minute demand area happened directly from this decisional area, and it left behind inefficiency when the break happened. So when this candle closed, we had this inefficiency right here, and the inefficiency has been filled up immediately, but I was setting a limit order on the extreme first and not on the decisional, and this is why I did not enter on the decisional zone. However, if I would enter on the decisional zone, I would use 3 pip stop loss in this case, and you can see that I would be in this trade, I would be in this movement after the mitigation of the decisional zone, after the change of character right here. So I would be in this trade, but unfortunately, I managed and I started to set a limit order on the extreme zone first. And when I wanted to set a limit order decision, I had literally no chance to be tagged on the decision because price has already reacted and reversed with this candle right here. So yeah, and also I'm not really a fan of market executions, and this is the reason I wasn't in this trade. I'm sticking to the limit orders. This is where I feel more confidence, and yeah, but as you can see, I set a limit order in the extreme area on the full zone mitigation. Right here, as you can see, used 3 pip stop loss. I could cover this high point with a 3 pip, so it was perfectly fine for me. And technically, this whole move, I have missed this whole movement right here with 0.1 pip. It happens sometimes, but yeah, unfortunately, I have been missed this opportunity. Price left me behind, and after price has reached this point right here, I decided to delete my limit order because price technically filled up the whole inefficiency right here. There was a little to no inefficiency just below this possible entry zone, and I was really waiting for at least perfect double tops or trendline liquidity in order to think about a possible re-entry on this extreme area, because it could still play out. But at this point, if I would be in this trade, I would close partial, and yeah, and actually that's all. Let's count the criteria for this entry opportunity. What were the criteria for this trade? So the first one was the higher time frame zone mitigation. Second criteria was the liquidity to take. Third one was the inefficiency right here. As you can see, and the pro trend criteria. Price was in a clearly bearish order flow on the 15-minute time frame, so it was safe to count the pro trend criteria. The fifth one was the flip in this case, but also we can count this one as a change of character. The sixth one was the perfect V-shaped recovery, and the seventh one is the 50% mitigation. This eighth one was technically the liquidity target. At this point, this low point was weak because price has reacted on the last recent 15-minute or 5-minute supply areas, so I consider this low point as a weak point, which also equals as liquidity. So this was my liquidity to target in this case. And also price wasn't coming from any opposite sided zone. At this point, there wasn't any opposite sided zone, not even on the 1-minute time frame, not even on the 5-minute or on the 50-minute time frame. So it was my 10th criteria, and also the corrective pullback strong pro movements criteria were there too. Just take a look on this bigger picture, how strong the bearish movements are comparing to the bullish movements. So all of these bullish movements were really pullbacky to the upside, and the real bearish movements were the stronger movements in this case. So I had 10 criteria for this entry opportunity, and the only missing criteria was technically the combined liquidation, but in this case we can count the decisional as combined liquidation for the extreme zone. But at this point, when I set a limit order for this extreme area, I did not count the combined liquidation. So I had 10 criteria for this entry opportunity, entry idea. And yeah, unfortunately, it turned out as a no-tech trade, but it is what it is. Also, let me show you another perspective, because technically price was coming from an opposite sided forward demand area that I did not notice that I did not notice before session. I have marked this 15-minute demand area right here because price was technically reversed on this demand area. As I said, on the forward time frame, I did not mark this forward demand out during the markups, but even though if price was coming from a forward demand area, it was still a valid trade idea because there was a forward zone mitigation. At this point, price couldn't make a 15-minute change of character to the upside, and after this movement to the downside that has caused a new breakout structure on the 15-minute time frame, price has just confirmed the last recent 15-minute supply area on the chart. So it was perfectly fine, and this is one of our scenarios when a forward zone mitigation happens. So we need a 15-minute change of character in order to execute longs, or we can wait for confirmation entry on the last recent supply area on the last recent 15-minute supply area if price mitigates the forward zone. Technically, this is what happened in this case. So the confirmation entry on the last recent supply area happened. I did go for it. I could be able to close purchase from this position, however, I wasn't in it. So yeah, so technically I wasn't in this trade, and technically that's all, guys. I really hope you can grab some value from this recap, and see you guys tomorrow in the backtesting webinar. On this weekend, I am able to host the backtesting webinar on Saturday, unfortunately, because on Sunday I will have a football match. But yeah, that's why I will host a backtesting webinar tomorrow on Saturday and not on Sunday. So take care, guys, and have a nice rest of the day. Goodbye.